What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Rawstocks. This is Rustic, and today we're going to take a look at Tesla's chart. We're going to look at where price came from, where price ended today, and where price is likely to head tomorrow and then into the rest of the week. Hope you all had a good holiday. No trading was being done on Monday, so here we are on Tuesday, first day of the trading week. So that means we only have 3 days left in this trading week. So before we get into the chart itself, don't forget to check out the description below where there's some links to the Rawstocks Discord, also links to where you can upgrade to premium if you want. Currently a 7-day free trial going on, and there's still a couple codes left to upgrade for a 30-day trial or a 30-day free premium using code only10. I think there's maybe like 3 or 4 codes left if you use that code to upgrade. That'll give you 30 days and I think plus the 7 days free trial. So 37 days of premium at absolutely no cost. So let's dig into the charts. Let's go ahead and look at today, right? We have our weekly open. Here's our week open price. We're currently trading above that, obviously. And so that's going to be our target for trading above to start to develop our bias for the week. Trading above that week open price. We are bull bias, although coming off of this nice sell-off, right? And we have seen price come down, to an RSI that looks, pretty close to a bottom. Didn't quite get under that 30 level, but wouldn't be surprised to see us rally up a little bit here, come back down, and maybe take another low, give us that RSI bottom we might be looking for. But we saw, a nice rip off of open, and then it eventually kind of faded down from that point. If you look at kind of the targets of where we're at, we have a order block here on the daily time frame, and if you were to map that out, you can see that this is our order block here. All right, and we traded right down near consequent encroachment of that order block, and saw us rally up from there. Also, we have taken a lot of the internal liquidity. We're inside this order block. We do have this kind of just this level, if you will, at the base of of the order block, basically in the wick low there, which is 205.99. We'll just call it 206 for a round number. And then you have the liquidity that rests all the way down in the low here. You can see the indicator I'm using today is a custom indicator that's only available on the Traders Helping Traders Discord if you're a premium member. It's called Pinewave Script. If you're interested in becoming a premium member and having access to that indicator, the link is also in the description for Traders Helping Traders. I provide my custom callouts on there and on Rawstocks. So again, in this order block, saw price come down to it, saw a nice bounce. We're in a new week, and I think that we might see a little bit of strength come out here. If you look at this block that traded up there, and we look at the low here, we might see price try to rally up to like maybe a fib level. So if we come down, right, we just had kind of this like impulsive selling happen. We might see price come back down up to equilibrium here at 226.70. We know the gamma readings are highest at like 225, and so we might see price try to push on that level. We might even see it come up into like our optimal trade entry zones, and then we'd be looking to see what else or what other things are in that area. And on the daily time frame, we have a lot of targets. I mean, it's just with this kind of selling, you got lots of fair value gaps in here. And so I'd be looking, if we were looking to short this again, which I do think there's going to be a good shorting opportunity if you miss this, right, is that we could look to see price come back up above equilibrium into a premium of this little range here, right? And there's a fair value gap right there. Now, also, if you want to look at the bigger move, you could sit around and wait. It might take longer to get there, and we may never get there. But 238.66, 245, 249.54 are our fib levels on this entire wave here, which would probably take over a month to get there, would be my guess, maybe 2 weeks to a month. But if we come up here, we also have another fair value gap right here. So that'd be a little bit of a longer term trade. I want to make sure that these are identified as bearish fair value gaps, right? So come down, bounce up. If we get up into that, this fair value gap, it's also in an optimal trade entry range. And so you could go short in that with your stop loss back up here at 265 on a long-term trade. If you were looking for a little bit more short-term, right, we rally back up here on just this range right here. Okay, and then we see, and that's the range between basically 212, 213, and 241, which is a wide range. But, if we come back up above 226.63, even better, up to 230, that's our 61.8 fib level, also inside of that daily fair value gap. So we'd look to see some kind of reaction here, and then, maybe come back down, maybe target the same low, or maybe just see, some kind of dip back down that would be able to provide, an opportunity to take some profit there. Again, what I might expect is a rally up, right? And then either coming back down to fall short of, or just taking that, possibly even trading down like to the 205 area, but at least taking this low, where I think then you might see some RSI divergence set up on the daily time frame. So we'll be watching that, and we could just get a face ripper here. We've been selling, off so hard. A lot of people are just wondering how much longer this can sell for. And so I do think we're going to possibly see some relief, maybe even just, high a week. We're on a Tuesday, so maybe see if we can get one more push up on Wednesday or even into Thursday. And then we might see it cycle back over on Friday. So we'll just have to see what that looks like. So let's take off these daily targets. Let's drop down to the 1 hour time frame. 1 hour time frame saw what appears to be, the first indication that we're getting some bullish activity on the 1 hour. Okay, we get our change of character right here in this candle specifically. This candle here, right, took this high, change of character. So what I want to see ultimately is and this will be a, probably best case scenario, is that we pull back into this bullish fair value gap on the 1 hour time frame. Okay, and then I want to see we rallied up, we changed character. I want to see us push back down somewhere into there, and then I want to see us push on this previous month low up in 228, and see what we do in that area. Maybe even a little higher in this fair value gap that's at 231.35 up to 233.33. Right, but I do see there's some consolidation and congestion in this area, although it be minor, and then we have some more sideways price action here. So that's going to be our two areas to look at, is these ranges right here. Okay, let me make it a little more obvious. So that range right there, again, that's at like 226 to 228 and some change. And then I want to see this range here, 232, 233 up to like 237. Want to see what we do to the as we creep up to this one, and then if we reject, that could be all she wrote as we cycle back down for a new low, or we could just have it pop back down and then break back up to go back into the higher range. So those are kind of the two areas I'm watching for, and those are in line with some of our daily targets as far as fair value gaps and other things. But if we get that cycle back down to this, 216 to 218, so I'd say 217.25 would be, an in-between entry on that. We also want to look at swing high to swing low right here. All right, so below 217.80, I'm looking at 216, 50, 216.25, probably being a really good entry to try to go long if we get there. And then again, targeting like 228, 226 to 228, all the way up to 236, depending on, how, if you're taking weeklies or if you're taking 2 or 3 week contracts, is going to kind of depend on where you're looking to run that. If we drop down into the 15-minute chart also shows, we had that early drop. We ran the low, stole the stops, came back up and got gap fill, and then we just fell short of taking this block right here. We rejected in this block, right as we got to it, and then we just kind of faded back and forth between there. You can see there's a bull flag setting up, so we'll see if we get the flag pattern to play out. Butt or pennant, I guess you could call it a bull pennant, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, it's a bullish setup. We'll see if we get that continuation. Potentially we get that dumped down. There's a 15-minute fair value gap here that I'd also be interested to see us trade into. So we saw it on the 1 hour. Here's it on the 15-minute. Let's take that out. Okay, so same kind of deal. If we get down to like middle 216s, I'd be looking for your entry. That could just be a quick manipulation move tomorrow. Maybe we gap down, dump down into there, and then see a further rally off of that. I would be looking for that for sure, specifically for a long entry, just because of how we exploded off of this. That looks like we're forming a bottom there. Might see some relief. And then if we look at the 1 minute chart, there was some trade call outs that occurred today, and we can look at what some of those look like. But I've talked to you guys about really focusing down on specific setups and trying to identify where those premium entries are going to be in order to kind of maximize our winning trades and minimize our losing trades. We're looking at 2-to-1 risk reward ratios, and then we're looking for elements of a trade to be there as far as like what our rules are going to be as far as taking the entry or not taking the entry. So if you look like on today's trading action, we just kind of rallied up. We got a market structure shift here in the form of a break of structure. It didn't necessarily meet criteria to enter the trade, so I missed out on this entire run up, which is fine. I actually had a swing call or a swing put that I called out on Friday that ended up going about 40% on today's open. So had a nice trade there. Waited for this move to happen as we delivered to buy side liquidity. So then I saw the change of character here, and there was a little tiny fair value gap after this displacement candle. Okay, so there's this displacement inside here, fair value gap. This little candle here traded up. This one did not get called out in the premium section, but it was a trade that I took and then ended up running it down. I think I got about 25% on that one. And then there's some other ones you can see if you end up getting a good setup, right? Not everyone is a good setup, but they're there nonetheless. So we get a change of character here. It was in that candle. We never really recycled back down to it, and then we traded down from there. Same thing with this change of character. There was a lot of like back and forth, stuff today. So the next real pretty nice setup was right here. You had a low. Here you come back to optimal trade entry, but that didn't meet the criteria of the trade I was looking for. So although it went back down to optimal trade entry, it would have been, a nice example of that. What I ended up looking for and taking was this trade here. And this one got called out in the premium room. So if you're a premium member and you grabbed it, it was a pretty nice trade. Ended up also going for, let's see. It ended up going for about 20%, which on a single contract was about $80. So here we had a swing low, swing high, change of character, fair value gap. Price comes down below equilibrium into discount. Okay, and then we ran it back up. Our target was a 2-to-1. I'll tell you where my entry was. My entry was in this dip here. I did not get this one here. So if you look at the 2-to-1 on the low here, our 2-to-1 was just below, something like that. I was targeting the TP3 or the 0.62, the negative 0.62 on the fib extension, which is a lot of times what Tesla will hit. So then I set my stop loss according to the 2-to-1 reward versus risk ratio, and the play ended up hitting and exceeding by a little bit. Came back up and took another swing at that top before it ultimately sold off from there. So, lots of different ways you can use these, but just want to continue to follow up with you guys so that you guys can see on the 1 minute chart kind of like how we're taking the entries and how we're doing the exits. And there's lots of different opportunities to look for a trade in there. There's lots of different market structure shifts, especially when we're kind of trading sideways here. And so just be watching out. If you're a day trader, intraday trader, scalper, be watching out for those market structure shifts kind of in that time macro we're looking at with a fair value gap, and then getting a return to fair value gap, and then taking your entry targeting a previous low or a previous area of liquidity. So hopefully that's been helpful to you guys. Appreciate all the support. Look forward to seeing you guys on the next one, and good luck trading tomorrow.